This is Jonny Arnold. He's my dad. He's also an artist, and a super talented one at that. He paints portraits, and I make documentaries. So we figured, why not make a documentary about his portraits? Over 3 painting sessions, Jonny painted 3 different self-portraits and I filmed it. This is the journey of the self-portrait. There you go.
Yeah.
So that syncs them up.
I'm Jonny Arnold. I'm an amateur artist. It's kind of what I do when I'm not working. That's the thing I'm very passionate about and I love it, so that's what I do. I don't know what to say. Ask me some questions.
Okay. Do you have any first thoughts about what you're going to do for your self-portrait or how you're going to go about it or anything like that?
Not really. I should just start it, mix up a few colours and see how we go. I mean, I'm intending to paint 2 or 3, so I'll get 2 or 3 stabs at it, you know. But I expect the first one will just be a bit of a loose mess, and then the second one will be a bit tighter, and then I should probably choose one of them to work on again, or I might just do another one. I don't know yet. We'll see.
What do you do before you start a painting?
Generally tidy the studio, or just start painting. I think the best way to do it is just to start, just to put the paint on a canvas and see what happens. That's where I start most of my paintings, really.
Do you like your painting?
More so now than I used to. I think years ago it was a question of always wanting to be as good as someone else, but once you can finally put that behind you and realise that you're only as good as you, do your own thing, not really worry about too much what other people think, then that's when I like them.
Is there anything that inspires you to paint or makes you really want to just get up and paint and make stuff?
Yeah, well, it's kind of like, it's all about finding different ways to use paint. That's what it is, different ways of making a mark. That's why my paintings are so different. I think I go from one week to the next painting different styles and mixing them up and learn new techniques. And it's about really just new ways of mark making and try and find something that suits me. Sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. You're really never happy with the end result, like anything creative, but you know, it gives you something to work on and just try and learn something from everything you do.
Do you prefer your paintings before or after they're finished?
Generally halfway through. I'm prone to overworking stuff, but that's a difficult question because I always get to a point in my paintings where I really like them, and then sometimes I can push them to the point of I really, really like them. Other times I push them to the point of just repainting over them and starting again.
What's the difference between good and bad art?
That's a difficult one. It's a hard one because art is a personal choice, isn't it? But for me, it's anything I can see someone's got a skill and they've used it. I think you have to put time in to learn how to paint, to learn your materials, to learn ways of looking at things. It's a constant learning curve, so I don't know if that answers the question about good or bad art, but I think good art is where I like to see the work in it, for me personally.
Why have you never painted a self-portrait before?
I didn't really feel that confident in portraits to be able to do it, but I mean I have done them and I wasn't really happy with them, but so hopefully I'll be able to knock something out that's half decent.
What do you think about self-portraits?
I think they're a good idea. I don't think it's good to paint too many of them, like some artists do, but yeah, it's a good idea. It's a good exercise. It's a good exercise in paint, and it's interesting to just give it another go and see if you can bring something new into it.
Should artists like their own work, or is it good to dislike your own work sometimes?
Another hard question, because the problem is doing anything creative, sculpture or art or painting or anything, is that you get so close to it that you only look at it through your own eyes. So after you've sat in front of something for 6, sometimes 12 hours painting over a couple of days, you can't really see it for what it is. If you're too engrossed in it, you can be too, you might not see it how other people see it.
Tell me about the wall that you painted in town.
The wall I painted in town wasn't the first wall I painted, but it was certainly the biggest. Probably one of the biggest. just coming back through friends of mine that I knew that said they wanted to put something fresh on it. It's really an exercise more than anything about painting big and about ways to do it. I always find that I perform best if I've got limited materials and limited stuff, because I know what I've got to use to make this piece of art, you know. Well, I painted it all with paint rollers, taped together with duct tape. It was good. It's how I wanted it to look, you know.
So, would you say you're proud of it?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of most things I do. But it's like everything. Like I said to you before, you spend so long doing something that you can't look at it with a subjective eye anymore. You end up looking at what you could have done rather than what you did do.
Did you face any sort of backlash or criticism about it?
Oh yeah, because the C word in Banbury's change, isn't it? I don't really worry about that, to be fair. I've begun to look at it, well, anyone that criticises me, they're not really my target audience anyway, so I don't really care. I don't care what people say. It annoys other people more than it does me. I'm not interested, you know.
How do you think the first self-portrait went?
It was good. I enjoyed it. It's good. Yeah, I think what I'm aiming for is a few studies, you know. Studies of, I don't like the word style. You know, it's a bit, but it's interesting to me to paint things differently than I normally would. Because I learn something every time I paint them. There'll be elements of that portrait in this portrait when it's finished. It's just, you know.
How are you approaching the second one differently?
Well, I painted the first one from a still image, a photograph, and this one's painted from life, like from in front of a mirror, which is really fun to do actually. It's good. It's also a bit more difficult because you have to, you have to adjust to the constant changes in light. You have to adjust to the constant changes in the way you're stood, because every time you step away from it, it's hard to stand back in the same place. So you get more movement, and also I think you get more. It's a moment in time as well. If it's from life. I'd love to paint more from life, but it's just getting round to it, having the time to do it, you know.
Is this one going to be better than the last one?
I don't see it as better. I don't see any of them as. I just think it'd just be different. It'd be different to the last one, and hopefully more towards what I'm aiming for, you know.
What is it you're aiming for?
Just a finished piece, a finished self-portrait. You know, I've drawn self-portraits before, and I've done the odd painting of one, but I've never been. I kind of get them to the stage where I like them, and I think that should be something else, so I work on them more, and it doesn't help them normally. Overall goal for me is to learn something from it, so that's everything I do, whether it's sculpture, painting, I want to learn from it. If I'm making a sculpture, it's tied in my painting because it brings a sculptural element to my painting next time I paint, because I'm thinking more about form and about lines and about shadow, you know.
Do you always enjoy being an artist?
Yes, all the time. I wouldn't do it if it didn't. Makes me happy.
Are you a professional?
I wouldn't class myself as a professional. I would say I'm a budding amateur, but I would say I would like to be a professional. And the more I try not to botch things up, the more I try and do things properly, it's taking me a step closer to being a professional.
How do you think the last self-portrait went?
Oh yeah, it didn't turn out how I liked it. It was too small.
So why did you just give up on it?
Just took it to the point where I couldn't add any more paint to it, so it was like just getting all muddy, and I wasn't keen on it anyway. Not keen on it.
Alright.
It's no, it's not my style. Didn't work. That's a failure.
Okay. Have you learned anything about your creative process from this process?
Oh yeah, I'm always learning. Every painting, you always learn something. I think it's to take your time with them, and don't be afraid to go back to them later on when they're dry. Even if it's a couple of months later, you can always go back to it. Patience is what I don't have, so I need to learn patience. I need to learn to stop, put it away, and go back a couple of months later or a week later or whatever.
How have you found the self-portrait experience?
It's been good. I've enjoyed it. I've painted 3 now, and 2 of them I'm happy with, and the last one so far I'm happy with. So 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
How do you show emotion in your paintings or your portraits?
I think that's a lot of that's in the pose, but with my I tend to work from the photo, and then 3/4 of the way through the painting I won't use a photo, so I'll just make it into. You've got to be aware that it's got to be a good painting as well, you know. Sometimes a photo, you can't do that just from a photo, so you have to embellish it in places and accentuate areas to make them look, you know, to make them pop and things like that.
What has been your favourite part of the process so far?
Always the painting. Always the painting.
Have you enjoyed the process of doing 3 similar paintings using different methods?
Yeah. I mean, I never really know where they're going to go until I finish them anyway, so I tend to start them all the same. I'm learning that I get better results if I do certain things now, and not so good results if I do other things, so yeah, it's good.
How would you describe your whole process in 3 words?
Whole process in 3 words. Bloody creative turmoil.
Would you ever want to do this sort of thing again?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Whatever. It's good because having someone else look at your creative process is good for their creative process, and it's also good for me because, you know, it puts me under certain conditions to paint in.
How does it feel knowing that you painted 3 self-portraits in the past month?
Yeah, I'm pleased because, I mean, in my whole painting career before, I've only ever painted 1. So I've done 3 in a month now. I'm getting used to painting my face, and you do get to know it the more you paint it, like anyone's face. Yeah. Sometimes it can be a bit hard work, you know, looking at your own face in such detail, and I try not to focus on the details.
Which one, if any, do you think looks the most like you?
I think the first one looks most like me. This one's in progress, so this might do. This is looking good. I think the first one definitely.
What was life like growing up?
It was good, yeah. Pretty relaxed, really. Just have to get on with it. I had parents that were quite understanding, so it was like nothing was really an issue, you know.
Were your parents artistic at all?
No, I think my dad always wanted to be, but he never. I think my mum bought him a set of paints once, but he never got around to using them. But I remember one of my earliest memories as a kid was like getting these big sketchbooks. It must have been about 8 or 9, and my dad drawing these massive battleships in the centre pages and me colouring them in. That's like one of my earliest memories of drawing. I remember I had a Holy Bible. We weren't religious or anything. I had a Holy Bible, and it had like 3 or 4 blank pages at the front and the back, and I just drew all over them. And there's like must have been 7 or 8, and it was just full of these drawings. Big purple Bible. I remember it seemed about 3 foot high at the time, but probably like tiny, you know now.
Was there a lot of artistic influence in your childhood?
Not really, not until street art came along. And then it was just my mates were just they were writing on everything, tagging on everything, and the whole hip hop culture really. And I suddenly thought, well, you know, we're all I'm quite good at this.
How long have you been making art for?
Got back into it about 5 or 6 years ago, 7, 8 years ago, mate. 7, 8 years ago. But only not really with any ambition, just doing because I enjoyed it, you know. And I've kind of gone through the ambition stage, come out the other side, and not really worried about it now. I just paint what I want, how I want. That's been a big thing to learn that as well, because a lot of times, like anything creative, you'll find this is that you watch everyone else and you think, oh, everyone else is doing so good, you know, everyone's doing such good stuff, but they're looking at you thinking the same. And if you're just trying to emulate everyone else, it's nothing new, is it?